Starting again. This will make the second conclusion to the dry run, to the second dry run. I'm having that kind of day. So, yeah, I recorded a complete video and never hit go live. And here we are again. Try number 3. All right. I'm Lonnie Webb. This is Radio Engine. My Twitter ID is at Radio Engine on X. That Twitter ID works for X also. So today I have the VGC VR-N76. And we're going to pretend that this package is intact, although you really wouldn't notice much of a difference. It came to me in almost an identical condition. So what happened is I ordered this radio by accident. It's a happy accident. I was looking for a test set to do some experimentation on APRS. I am KG5WHQ, an actual real-life ham radio operator. I do some experimentation when no one is looking, when my wife is not guarding the credit card. And so I looked at all the funny wigglies and squiggles on AliExpress and accidentally ordered this radio, which turned out to be a happy accident. I'm so glad I did. That was 5 months ago. And I just got another one just like it. So let's take a look at this. Is not a surprise. A package from AliExpress comes in a condition about like this. It first comes from China, goes to the hands that market it on AliExpress, and they open it all up. They tear everything up, charge up the radio and make sure it actually functions, and put a QC check letter in the packaging. They then send it to customs by way of a boat, and customs in the U.S. tears it all up, and it gets taped back up 1 or 2 times in the nasty brown tape. So, with no further ado, and I'm not kidding, the box has had a fat chick standing on it. I don't know, maybe an elephant, maybe they fed it to a hungry gorilla or something. Panda in China. First thing to point out, this radio is the same physical radio as the one that's marketed by BTEC, the one that is marketed by Radioddity, the one that is marketed by the other company that's marketing one of these. There are subtle differences in the phone companion app, and there are region differences in the firmware. This one is appears to be the Chinese junk firmware that I'll have to update. And when it arrives from BTEC, it has the NOAA configuration and probably some tone filtering as a weather radio. This one doesn't have that, which is fine for me because I'm not going to use it primarily in that fashion. It is, as it says here, IP64 submersible. Comes with some documentation. The documentation is not completely worthless. It's just not overly helpful. And I don't blame them for that because, you know, it's it's thin enough to do the job, and it doesn't fill up with 8 languages I didn't want to pay to print. This is English. This one is the app. The VGC is HT. I think the BTEC application that you put on your phone is BT. Not sure about that. And I'm just going to toss that over there because that's not very helpful anymore. Things have changed a little bit in the application. You can still follow along with it, but it's not overly handy. And speaking of not overly handy, the manual for the radio, yes, it does give you an English description of what every button might ought to do, but there is no how to. That's just not what that is for. So here we go. I went for the high vis radio, and what can I say? I watched too many of Josh's videos, and it's stuck in my head. That will tell me which specific antenna that is, but I can't see that without a magnifying glass. So it comes with a rubber ducky, which is better than most. Stock rubber ducky, it's decent. It's not a signal stick, but it's better than you would expect. It actually works. Comes with a USB-C charging cable, Type A on one end and Type C on the other. Comes with some silicone rings to put on the antenna in case you have a few of these and you want to identify which radio is configured which way, which is something that I'm going to do. In fact, I'm going to slip one on here, and I'm going to grab the other radio so we can talk about one that has the up-to-date firmware. There. Now I'm just going to set that off over here, and I'm going to get mine that I have been using. I'm going to get mine that I have been using. Well, let's play the sound. Maybe you can hear it. I didn't hear that. Let me do it again. There we go. It does have a Roger beep. I turned that off as soon as I got a chance. When you update the firmware, it switches the fonts and gives you white and yellow right now. I know they're gonna change that some way or another, but that may be a direct result of K8MRD pestering them about the fonts. And I don't really blame him. The red font that it originally came with was real hard for me to read. Probably because of my eyeglasses. It filters colors in a funny way. So let's see. IP67. This is the VGC variety. The model number on this one is from VGC is VR-N76, and being IP67, it is submersible for a few minutes, I think, and up to a meter. And as long as, let me show you a little trick here. Oh, it's got a beefy belt clip. That's the only radio I've got that I have put the belt clip on, because the others, they're just going to break. So let's see if I can get this guy off. I'll turn that off. And what am I doing wrong? It's not coming off. Oh, that is bolted to the body instead of the battery. And this battery is massive. There we go. Should you get one of these radios and should you drop it, that little rubber ring around that terminal is the most important thing in your world. If you drop it, a little bit of water is going to ingress around the battery. But that little slot with the ring around it, as long as no water gets in there, you're golden. If you drop it, if you pick it up, take the battery off, try it out. Let's see now. I forget how massive this battery is, but it is weighty. You remember the old, no, I'm sure nobody remembers, the old cell phones, back when they truly became battery powered and you could carry them around without a bag, they were about this weight and about this shape. And I'd love the heck out of this guy. There we go. Comes with a screen protector. That is a good enough screen protector to leave on the radio. Mine's starting to curl up. It's going to have to get replaced. But I've had this for 5 months, this one. And I can't find anything wrong with the radio. I mean, I've dropped it, I've bumped it, I've gotten rained on. It's held up to everything in normal, everyday use. This is my everyday driver. It's a 2-meter radio. Can you eke by on 70 centimeters and 144? I have not tried 144. Somebody should try that. But I have got it on, I've got it on VHF and 146. Here's one of the things you should keep in mind when playing on one of these. It's got the green and the red buttons. The green button only soft presses the menu button there. It's soft. This one, the red one, soft presses the group button over here, or whatever function you have cursored into. Doesn't have any other special meaning that I know of. Cursoring to the left, not surprisingly, takes you into other features. If I had messaging, if I had messaging turned on and was doing APRS messaging with somebody, you would see some detail right there. However, keep in mind, I mean, I'm going to point this out up front. This is a gotcha. If you get an APRS message and turn off the radio, that volatile message memory will go away. To deal with that, they sent along the companion app that runs on your phone or your iPad or your Mac even. I don't know if it'll run on a Chrome laptop. It probably will, but I'm going to leave that to the experimenters of the day. Let's go on over here. There is my GPS. It does have a GPS in it. I'm under a roof, so there'll be no actual GPS display right now. Let's get out of that. And I will do a walkthrough of all the menu functions if you guys want. I am recommending this radio. So if you skip the rest of the video, I'm recommending the radio. This is a very safe buy at $164 on Amazon last night. On AliExpress, back when I got it, it was $170 74 or 78, somewhere around there. And that was a great price then. It's a great price because this is half of a Kenwood D75. It's yeah, that's a $700 radio. And I just gotta say that this is a great deal. It does all the stuff, especially all the stuff that I want and more. The fact that it's got a working GPS, the Quansheng for $18 does not, but this one has a working GPS. The compass on this one has never calibrated. Now, I'm not worried about that. It doesn't matter because the GPS knows where it is, and that really solves most of my issues as far as navigation goes when I'm using it in conjunction with the iPhone application. The Android application is practically identical. And let's talk about what this thing can do. It can do APRS with the caveat that it needs a phone application to go along with it. The way that that works, this guy has a Bluetooth TNC. Can you believe it? For under $200, it's got a Bluetooth TNC. These guys sell a Bluetooth hand mic that you can do your PTT action. You can talk over the hand mic and just leave this on your belt or in your truck or whatever. And I have even used it with my Jabra headset for conference calls. Works great in that respect. Let's see, where else can we go with this guy? It's got another feature that I wanted to call out besides, the battery life. The battery life. Moderate use or less. This thing will last 5 days on a charge. And by moderate use, I'm hitting the repeater. It's announcing the repeater every half hour or every quarter hour. And doing dual watch, it's definitely going to max out at 5 days. So if you're watching 2 repeaters, that's going to take you down a notch. And any superfluous APRS activity is going to eat up the battery a little bit faster. I can put it on standby for a long time, couple of weeks. And that's just the size of this battery and the fantastic engineering that has gone into this radio. I'm really, really thrilled with the amount of engineering thoughtfulness that has gone into it. They have scrimped and saved every bit and byte they can. And customer service on this guy, they hear us. When we talk to them about the radio, they hear us. And every few weeks, a new firmware comes out. You have access to the beta firmware anytime you want it. You just hold the iPhone app or Android app and tap on the screen like 9 or 10 times in the firmware update option, and it will update the battery, not the battery, the radio. It will update the firmware on the radio and just follow the instructions. You're going to have to leave your phone and your radio still for 10 or 20 minutes when that happens, but that's not really outrageous. Everything the phone does to or with the radio is all over Bluetooth. Low power consumption. It's real handy for those occasions that you need to make some maintenance or just do some things with your radio. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you about with this guy? I've told you about the app. I've told you about the the colors. Let's talk about the colors. I think there's 6 different colors. There's orange, red, yellow, green, olive, military green, tactical kind of tan, and black. That makes 6. Or did I mention yellow? Yeah. High vis colors. High vis yellow, high vis orange, and high vis green. No, I take that back. The green is not high vis. It's that tactical or that olive color. All right. La 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 la. This screw cannot come out unless you've got something to put into it and a place to put that screw. It's going to get lost. So keep that in mind. When you lose that screw in this little doer, it's no longer going to be IP67. It's going to get water into it and short it out. So my goodness, be careful. Don't lose that little guy. Or use, if you're plugging in an M1 gadget, it's M1 instead of K1. If you plug in an M1 gadget, make sure it's one that has the screw with it. All right. We have covered everything. I feel like I've forgotten something. The TNC works well with radio mail. KM4ACK brags that it works great with APRS Droid. And Pocket Radio Packet. Who knows? It works with iPhone and Android. You will need a wall wart because it only comes with a charging cable, and that's just fine because in my situation, instead of using a cheap wall wart, I'm using the one off my iPad, which does a fantastic job of being beefy and charging this beastie up. It charges by way of the USB-C port on the back of the battery. So that means you can charge it up when it's out of the radio if you swap another one in. Has an LED right there to let you know the charge status when it's plugged in. And 2 programmable buttons and a PTT. I think that's enough information. There is a gotcha I wanted to mention. When you sit down with this radio, 2 things. Yes, hello. 2 things I have caught myself making a mistake. Okay. That little divot is the microphone. You got to make sure not to cover that up. The other issue is when you're putting in a repeater setting, you have to put in both the transmit and receive frequencies. It doesn't take an offset like you would think it would. It does have the option for talk around settings, which means that you just give it the transmit frequency, I think, and it figures out what to do. Your mileage may vary. That said, it's a great radio, great battery life, very durable. It stood up to everything I've done to it in 5 months. And it's so good that I got another one. And I encourage you, if you're in the market for another, NHT that's above $18, get this one. This one is Vero from AliExpress. Radioddity has one. B-Tech has one. B-Tech may be, if you're really in a consumer application, the B-Tech may be better because it has the options for NOAA built in, and you don't have to figure out the frequencies for that. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Hit the like button. Tell me what you want next. If you want to see a walkthrough of the application, please give me a comment and tell me that. If you want to see a walkthrough of all the options on the radio, please go in the comments and tell me that. Most importantly, hit like, tell other people about the channel, and if you would, stick around for this week. I'm going to probably be doing some soldering. Yeah. That said, I think I said that. I'm going to wrap up, and I will see you wonderful people later. So long.